Carolinas is cold chasing moisture never works out. You want the cold air to be locked in and the moisture comes in second or something like that. It's like it just never works out for us if we're in that position. You'd rather have the cold air locked in and be tracking the moisture, which it did seem like that was what we were looking at earlier this week versus the opposite. But it bit us this time.
I know.
But at least we didn't put out a snow map saying 3 inches of snow last week. So
we didn't. But if you had asked me earlier in the week, do you think you could get a couple inches? Yeah, I think you probably could.
Yeah.
But that's why we wait on those things.
What a wise meteorologist once told me, it's a snow chance, not a snowstorm. Oh wait, that was you.
There you go. He sounds like a swell fella. That's great.
He is a swell fella.
Hey, can I show this? I want to show this.
Show it.
This is a hopeful part of the program. Hopeful part of the program. Here we go. This is the long-range forecast from our partners at the Climate Prediction Center. So we're swinging for the fences here. This is pretty far away, but the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook. What this is meant to show you is, do you have a better chance to be warmer than average or colder than average? They're suggesting that we have a better chance to be colder than average for the end of the month here. Now, what else is interesting about that is this one. This is the outlook for precipitation. They suggest that we also might have odds of being wetter than average. Cold, wet, those are two things that we would want to see if you're trying to get some snowfall. Are we forecasting snowfall? No, we don't forecast that far away, but it's a trend that you might want to keep an eye on. And another sign, like we were just talking about, winter doesn't end on January 16th. It doesn't end on February 2nd on Groundhog Day. It ends in March. And so we'll keep on watching until then. Kind of in my brain, I always look toward the second week of March is my cutoff point. At that point, I don't have any hope anymore for snow. But until then, we can always keep looking.
So essentially your cutoff point is like Storm of the Century anniversary, and then after that you're done.
Yeah, basically. St. Patrick's Day at the latest. After that point, no way.
Well, Tim, it's been a week. It's been a tough week of forecasting. I'm glad that you've been here every step of the way. Do you have any last comments that you want to tell peeps about the snow? I'm going to pop up our forecast really quick just for a last look-see-loo in case anybody wants to see it. And, of course, we'll have more updates at 11 o'clock on both WCNC and WFNY. So any last words? We're not done with the show forever. So we're just done for the weekend.
Sure. Here in the Triad area, I would expect mostly a cold rain. It could mix with a period of wet snow middle of the morning on Sunday. Don't tell the kids about it. If they see it, that can be a nice surprise. But otherwise, look ahead to the next one.
Yeah, look ahead to the next one. All right, well, Tim, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. At least you don't have to come in on your day off to track snow. And everybody else, I hope you have a great weekend as well. Fingers crossed for a flurry or two on Sunday, but otherwise, stay warm out there.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Live Impact News. It is 7 o'clock on the dot. I'm Julie Kay. We'll be here for the next hour before our next content and our newscast at 11. Want to get back to where we left off around 4 p.m. with President Donald Trump. He spoke in Palm Beach. This is the full speech that you missed earlier.
Please welcome Florida State Representative Meg Weinberger. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 45th and 47th President of the United States.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. Well, I am honored to stand before you as the sponsor of the legislation that established President Donald J. Trump Boulevard. But I have to be honest and give credit where credit is due. Where's my husband? Just after the election, my husband, Eric, actually said, Meg, you need to rename Southern Boulevard President Donald J. Trump Boulevard. And I immediately maybe snapped at him and said, Eric, give me a few minutes. I'm a freshman. I need some time. But after a few minutes to process, I realized he was right, which is rare in our marriage. I might point that out. But I realized that it also needed to happen. This is something that was a great idea. I'm in this role because of our good friend who's here today, FHP Director Dave Kerner. He reached out to me and told me, Meg, our state needs more servant leaders that care. And I'm here because President Trump spoke common sense when common sense was completely under attack. So I'm so grateful to be a warrior here for you, sir, and to have honestly, I never thought I'd be in this role. Just a mom rescuing a lot of animals and listening to you speak, President Trump, you speak common sense. You speak exactly what the people want and have been wanting to hear for many, many years. Thank you. Thank you. When I first filed the language, though, I was told it wasn't allowed, that we couldn't do this. But I am the youngest of four, and my father did coin me the nudge, so it served me well in the Florida House determination. I will have to tell you that it was not just me. There were so many members that, you know, we would kind of have, the bill naming, the process is so interesting. It was first my bill. It rolls into the road naming bill, and from there, it goes to the House and the Senate. So there's so many people that are involved. Speaker Perez, you're such an incredible supporter. In fact, in your inaugural remarks, you said this is a member-driven process, and this is exactly what this is, a member-driven process. This was exactly how it played out. We had Representative Nix, Representative Brannon, Senator President Albritton in the Senate, and other senators, and so many members and staff that really worked hard to make this happen. I'm a woman of faith, and I want to say Romans 13:7 says, "Give honor and respect to all those whom it is due." And President Trump, today we're doing exactly that. We need to honor and respect you and your family for everything that you have done for us in our country. So thank you. I want to thank Thank you to all the officials that voted and helped make this happen. It doesn't just even happen in the state. As I learned as a freshman, you have to then go through many municipalities, which was a learning process for me as well. But I want to thank my staff, Kate, Lex, and Alexander. You guys are all rock stars. I'm so grateful to have you part of my team. President Donald J. Trump Boulevard now stands as a permanent reminder for courage, leadership, and unapologetic patriotism. I am proud to have played a role in to make that happen. And I'm looking forward to the airport where greatness takes off. You like that? Where greatness takes off? It is truly my honor to introduce the most incredible president of our lifetime, President Donald J. Trump.
That is something that's very special. That was a beautiful introduction, and it was from the heart. I could see that. Sometimes I get introduced not from the heart. We know that. We know about that, Danny. But this was amazing to see so many dignitaries, political leaders from Florida and beyond. It's really nice. Ooh, that looks very nice that you're carrying. And that's beautiful. Thank you. Wow. That's the real deal. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. All top people in this room, really amazing people. And we have a lot of media back there. We appreciate that you're here. We very much appreciate that you're here. See, I'm being nice today to the media. I think I have. But a very special thanks to State Representative Meg Weinberger. The job she's doing is amazing. And she's going to do very well politically. I used to tell her, I don't know, that's a tough race. That's a tough race, but go do it. And she did it, and she won. And a lot of people didn't think she was going to be able to win, beating people that were doing it for a long time. You weren't doing it for a long time, but you've become a veteran very fast, and you've done very well. Congratulations. We appreciate it. They call her MAGA Meg. And now when you have that, you can never lose a race. You can't lose. People just didn't understand that you can't lose a race, right, with that. Thank you, darling. And where's your husband, by the way? Where is he, Eric?
My arm candy.
Wow. Great job. Thank you very much for that reference. That was a very important reference. Thank you, Eric, very much. And speaking of Eric, I have Eric Trump right here, who's a great guy. He's a great young guy, and he's done a fantastic job. When I'm away, I don't know, I look at, I see things happening all over the world, and him, the whole family has been so terrific, but Eric has been right there at the front, and I appreciate it very much. He's a great boy. We love that boy. We love that boy. Thank you, honey. Appreciate it. And I'm thrilled to be back in my home state of Florida, and this truly incredible privilege. I moved down here. I love New York, but it was just worked that way. And you know, we won Florida so much and by so big, and it continues, just continues. We even have Club 47 here. Look at these representatives. Used to be Club 45. Then they said, I think we're going to change it to Club 47, and we're having a good time. Let me tell you, we're doing a job for our country. We're saving our country, because if they would have gotten in, this country would have been a place known as Venezuela on steroids. It would have been in big trouble. So we did a job, and so many of the people, Gina, so many of the people in the room, they helped so much. It's incredible. So I'm tremendously honored that the main boulevard from Palm Beach International Airport to the beautiful Mar-a-Lago is being renamed in my honor. That's a very important stretch. A lot of people, a lot of important people, and I don't care if they're important or not, but important and not important people travel on that road. But I love the people of Florida. I love the entire Palm Beach area. I've been here for a long time, and I want to thank you all for being here. I'll remember this amazing gesture for the rest of my life, and in particular Meg and Eric and all of the people that work so hard for this. I also want to thank a man who's amazing. He's an administrator. He's one of the most talented people in the country at what he does. Joe Abruzzo, he's here someplace. Joe, what a talented guy. There's nobody better in the whole country at what he does, and what he does is not easy. But everybody respects him, and everybody listens to him, and he's got great values, but he's got a great sense of design and everything else that you need. You need a lot of capability in that job, and you have every bit of it. Thank you, Joe, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. And who is that young lady? Thank you very much. Fantastic. It's good to have you both. Let me also express my gratitude to all of the members of the Florida House, many of whom I've gotten to know over the years, and the Senate, incredible people. I mean, literally incredible people who united behind the legislation granting me this great honor, including the Speaker of the House, Danny Perez, who I think has a hell of a future. I don't know what you're doing, Danny, but what a future. Wow. Because he has an unlimited political future, but whatever you choose, I'm behind you 100%. You know that. Danny, thank you for a great job. Great job. And State Senator President Ben Albritton, I want to thank you, Ben. Good job you're doing. Everybody's respected in this group. You know, they get along down in Florida, although I can't say that's necessarily always the case. I guess you probably have a couple of people that you maybe not as friendly with, but you are great people. Ben, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Along with state representatives Danny Nix, Chuck Brannon, Chip LaMarca, Mike Redondo, Juan Carlos Porras, and State Senator Debbie Mayfield. Thank you all for being here. Thank you. Thank you very much. And we're also pleased to be joined by many distinguished guests, including Congressman, a friend of mine for a long time, Brian Mast. Thank you, Brian. What a great guy. People love that guy. And another friend of mine, and somebody, I mean, you talk about attorney generals, there's no better attorney general than this one. He better win this race, because I think he's going to. I'm 407-0, and I gave him my strongest endorsement. And James Uthmeyer. So where is James? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. You're doing good. How are the polls doing? Pretty good? It's a blowout, but let's not say that. Let's say you're winning by one or losing by one. Doesn't make any difference. Get them out to vote, right? It was an honor to endorse you, and congratulations. Doing a great job. And I want to thank Ron, too, because Ron has been really behind this with Meg and everybody else, and we did have his back in 100%. I appreciate it, and it's a great honor. Thank you very much. See you. Florida Agricultural Commissioner Wilton Simpson, who I've been with for a long time, right? I've been with him for a long time. Long time.
All right, while we wait for that feed to get back up, we're going to take a quick break, but stick with us. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Impact News. We are going to get straight out to Palm Beach once again, where President Donald Trump is finishing up his speech from earlier this afternoon.
We've known each other for a long time. Incredible people. And the members of the Palm Beach Town Council are here. Thank you all very much. You do a great job. You love the town. I love the town too. Well, I had a lot of choice on towns, and I said, this is the town I want to be in. So we all love it. And it's an honor to have saved Mar-a-Lago. You know, most of these great houses went down. They went down rapidly, and they were subdivided into 25 homes, et cetera, et cetera. And I'll tell you what, this was an honor. But they like me because I saved the house. Somebody said they like me because you're a great president, but they like you more because I saved Mar-a-Lago. Saving Mar-a-Lago was to them more important. Thank you very much. I like you. Thank you very much. Mayor of Palm Beach County, who I endorsed, by the way, Sarah Baxter. Sarah? Hi, Sarah. Congratulations, Sarah. So we're at 407-0. We have to make sure that you're going to, but I think it's going to work out very well. Congratulations. You had so many people that said, you got to be with her. I said, I am. So good luck with the election. I know it's going to work. Congratulations. Work out very well. Thank you. Good luck. The members of the County Commission and the West Palm Beach City are unbelievable people. They love the area. They work hard and they're good. Where are you? Can you raise your hands a little bit? Great. Thank you. Thank you. Great job you're doing. You know, we're all working together at this place. We're working on a little water project, and if we can get the water perfect, that'll be great, Mayor. You're heading it up from this part of the world, and I know they're working in West Palm Beach in the area. And we'll see whether it's desalinization or filtering. There's a couple of different ways we can do it. But whatever we can do, I think it would be great. We're working along with West Palm Beach also. So thank you, and thank you, Mayor. Dan Newland is here, and Gina Loudon is here, and Linda Soch is here, and Larry and Sue Snowden are here. Thank you, Larry and Sue. Thank you. And basically, just sort of like everybody's here. And it's really something special. We're pleased to be in the same legislation as it renames another section of Southern Boulevard, and a very nice section indeed. I know it well, in honor of 3 brave motorcycle deputies from the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office who were killed last year in a horrific accident. Horrible. It was a horrible situation. But I saw so much love. I saw everybody in this room was there, plus. We had a ceremony in honor of these 3 incredible people. Corporal Luis Paez Jr., who is just, Luis Paez was somebody was loved and respected by so many people. They all said, thank you for being there in honor of her. And Deputy Sheriff Ralph Butch Waller Jr., and Deputy Sheriff Ignacio Dan Diaz, the 3 of them, what happened to them, this was unbelievable. Mom, I want to see Mom. Oh, you look good. You look very good. I haven't seen a former mayor of Palm Beach and highly respected. Who's respected more, you or your mother? I don't know. It's pretty close, right? You're pretty close. She says Mom is respected more. That's good. A daughter better say that, right? Thank you, darling. Appreciate it. That's great. Thank you, Danielle. Glad you told me she was here. Former Mayor Leslie Smith is here, who's great and a formerly very good golfer. I think she's still a good golfer. Leslie, where's Leslie? Leslie? Thank you very much, Leslie. Thank you. Thank you, darling. I appreciate it. We've known each other for a long time. Incredible people. And the members of the Palm Beach Town Council are here. Thank you all very much. You do a great job. You love the town. I love the town too. Well, I had a lot of choice on towns, and I said, this is the town I want to be in. So we all love it. And it's an honor to have saved Mar-a-Lago. You know, most of these great houses went down. They went down rapidly, and they were subdivided into 25 homes, et cetera, et cetera. And I'll tell you what, this was an honor. But they like me because I saved the house. Somebody said they like me because you're a great president, but they like you more because I saved Mar-a-Lago. Saving Mar-a-Lago was to them more important. Thank you very much. I like you. Thank you very much. Mayor of Palm Beach County, who I endorsed, by the way, Sarah Baxter. Sarah? Hi, Sarah. Congratulations, Sarah. So we're at 407-0. We have to make sure that you're going to, but I think it's going to work out very well. Congratulations. You had so many people that said, you got to be with her. I said, I am. So good luck with the election. I know it's going to work out very well. Thank you. Good luck. The members of the county commission, the ceremony was one of the most beautiful and saddest ceremonies that I've ever attended. But I was deeply honored to be there. On May 1st, I bestowed the honor of first ever. These were medals that were worked on by my son, Eric, very hard. We had a great jeweler. Can I say the name of the jeweler? Tiffany. And they came up with a really incredible medal, and it's called the Medals of Sacrifice, and they did a beautiful job, and it was really led by Eric Trump, so I want to thank you, Eric, too. Yeah, thank you. And unfortunately, when certain events happen like that, and they do happen, they shouldn't happen, but they do happen, we're going to do the medal ceremony, and it's going to be something special. So today we pay tribute to them and to those to the loved ones. Some of their family members are here. We love their family members, what they went through. Those deputies will live in our hearts forever. In Florida, we'll remember them always with the PBSO Motorman Highway. PBSO Motorman Highway. It's a great, beautiful thing. I'm going to see it every time I go up that road. Today's dedication ceremony for President Donald J. Trump Boulevard is special meaning to me because I've always had the unique bond with the great state of Florida. We had tremendous success here. I've been part of the community for more than 40 years. We won big here in Florida all 3 times. We set every record every time. And in 2024, we swept 61 of 67 Florida counties. Nobody's ever done that, and carried the state by almost 2 million votes, which is the record. And then I was followed also from the governor's standpoint with Ron, who did fantastically also. And we've turned this state, there are a few Democrats in the room, I don't want to get into this, but we've turned the state extraordinarily red, I would say, wouldn't you say? You'll find out, you're going to see. But over the past 12 months, Florida's trust and confidence has really paid off because you made a correct choice. 1 year ago, we were, I say it, dead country. The king of Saudi Arabia, I was over in Saudi Arabia getting money for the country. He put up $2 trillion. Gave us, I'd like to invest in the United States, $2 trillion. It's a lot of money. And then I went to Qatar, $2 trillion. And I went to the United Arab Emirates, Mohammed, $2 trillion. So we took in $6 trillion. That's why we have 18, because we got 6 from 3 countries. That helps, right? Laura, is that right? Hi, Laura. Boy, you are something. What spirit you have. Laura Loomer, thank you, honey, for being here. Appreciate it. She's, she can be a little nasty, but to me, she's always nice. So that's all that matters. I want her to stay that way, too. But I was over there, and he looked at me, the king of Saudi Arabia. He said, I can't believe it. This was a few months ago. Took back all that money for the country. He said, I can't believe this is happening because 1 year ago you were a dead country, and now you're the hottest country in the world. And I use that quote all over. And it's true. We were a dead country, and now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're taking in more income than any country. We're doing better than any country. The stock market's doing better than anyone's ever seen before. We have the best stock market we've ever seen. 401ks are doing better than they've ever done before. They're up 78% in many cases. But starting on day one, we fully secured our Southern Boulevard and stopped and think of it, as we were securing Southern Boulevard, making Florida great, we're also securing a thing called the Southern Border and making that great, and we stopped the invasion of our country. So Florida's been ahead of their time. Florida was ahead, it led the way. But we stopped this was an invasion on our border. And, I don't know if this is correct because it can't be correct. It's too good. But for the last 8 months, there have been no people that came into our country illegally. Now, I don't know if that's possible. How do you go from 25 million people in 4 years to 0 people? But the people, Wilton, the people that report this are Democrats. So it must be true. I mean, but it's like 8 months now, and they report it every month. No people came into our country, so I don't know, illegally. A lot of people are coming in legally. They're going through a process, but we don't want the illegal coming in. You look at what's happening in Minnesota, it's so sad. And it's so sad because ICE is taking out murderers. They're taking out drug lords. They're taking out people from mental institutions, bringing them back to their country. They're taking out the roughest people, Tren de Aragua. The jails are emptied out from Venezuela. Now I like Venezuela very much. I say good things. I don't talk about Venezuela in a negative. I think it's a wonderful country. We just were. It's very interesting. It's so much different. It's changed so much in literally a week. It was one of the great military maneuvers of all time. It was like flawless. It was one of the great of all time. But we're dealing with the new president. We're dealing with a lot of the people that were running the country, and they had our first thing is they said we have 50 million barrels. Hard to believe, Eric. I said, is there such a thing as 50 million barrels? 50 million barrels of oil, and we have to get it processed immediately because we have no room. Will you take it? I said, we'll take it. I didn't have to consult with anybody on that. I didn't have to call up our great Attorney General. I said, we will take it. And it's the equivalent of $5.2 billion. That was the first day. And it's now traveling nicely to the United States. And we've had a great relationship with the people that are currently they say the interim president and everybody else. And it's been, I think a lot of pressure has been released. Because, that was a great country 20 years ago, and then it went bad because it had the wrong system. It had a bad system. And we can't ever fall into a position where we have that system, because that system isn't going to work. That system can make a lot of people that are good people, bad people, or incompetent people. But we passed the largest tax cuts in history, the largest regulatory cuts in history, and the largest spending cuts in history, and that got done. We call it the Great Big Beautiful Bill. We have no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. People that buy a car, they get a deduction now in their interest. If they buy a car and borrow money, it never happened before. Rich people that got used to taking deductions. People in middle-class situations or lower than middle class, they never got deductions on anything. They can now. I think it's going to have a huge impact. We're building more factories in the United States now than at any time in our history. And we have $18 trillion being invested. We have think of that, $18 trillion more than any country has ever had by 5 times. Think of that. There's never been anything even close. $3 trillion is the record. We're going to be, I think, at over 18. Through 10 months, it was 18. We could crack 20 by the time we have our first year, which will be in a little while, January 20th. So I just, it's been amazing. We also did a couple of other things. Critical race theory and transgender insanity is out of our schools and out of our lives. And we got men out of women's sports, officially out of women's sports. And everyone said, well, that's an 80-20 issue. No, that's a 98-2 issue. I don't even think it's 98-2. Military recruitment is setting records. A year ago, and now you have to go a year and a half ago, I guess, but a year ago, military recruitment was at an all-time low, and that included for police and firemen. And now military recruitment, police and firemen, is the highest it's ever been. We have never had this many people apply for jobs. We've never seen anything like it. And we hire now on a merit-based system because we won the court case, the Supreme Court case. Everything's based now on merit. So we get people in merit as opposed to putting people in jobs that maybe shouldn't be there. Whether it's nice or not, it's how our country grew. It's how our country became great. So we have a merit-based system. In less than a year, we made 8 peace deals and ended the war in Gaza. We have peace in the Middle East. Nobody thought that was going to be possible. We stopped India and Pakistan from fighting, 2 nuclear nations. They say many millions of people. The Pakistani prime minister said Donald Trump saved at least 10 million people. And it was amazing, and it's an honor. And we obliterated Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity with Operation Midnight Hammer. That was another operation that was incredible. And then you have al-Baghdadi. We got out. That's a founder of ISIS, was rebuilding ISIS. We got him.
All right, you were just listening in to President Donald Trump from earlier today. We actually tuned in earlier on Live Impact News as he began that speech around 3:30 this afternoon, but that was the full time that you got to see there. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be back in 2 minutes with some more local news, so stick with us. All right, welcome back to Live Impact News. It is just past 7:30 on your Friday evening. We're going to get to some more local headlines. We had a chance to speak earlier today with Mecklenburg County Sheriff Gary McFadden. We typically get to speak to him about once a week here in the Live Impact studio, but this, of course, very timely as the petition to get him removed from office was just thrown out, so it will not be moving forward, and we got to hear his response.
Federal immigration enforcement operations, they're unfolding in Minnesota, where 3,000 officers have been deployed in what Minnesotans are describing as an unprecedented show of force. Joining us to discuss this and other developments around Mecklenburg County, Sheriff Gary McFadden. And of course, yesterday, Sheriff, a judge dismissed a petition seeking your removal from office. So that ruling also coming down here the pipeline. It didn't follow proper legal procedures, and yesterday on your way out of the court you said that nothing surprises you anymore, right?
No, nothing surprises me. This is the era of social media, and we should all understand that it is an election time and people are going to do whatever they need to do to seek these offices or remove these offices. So we know it was an undermining tactic, and so we are happy that the judge ruled in the way that he did. So we're going to move forward and just respect the process or processes that happen and move forward. So we were glad the judge saw what was going on.
Yeah, you've said that. You wanted to respect the process, and whatever out of this investigation into this petition comes out, you're just going to leave it to the investigators and SBI. Now, your focus to move ahead, though, you've been able to do that through and since the decision.
Well, yes. We've always moved forward through all of the crisis. And you think about, under my leadership, I led through COVID. We led through Black Lives Matter movement. We led through the civil arrest of George Floyd and Tyrese Nichols. And so when I say that we just move forward, we have to have a leader that can continually to battle through all of this. And this is what leadership is about, battling through the times that even when people come against you, you stand firm and just trust or respect the process. If the process is done fairly, we're all for that. We just wanted to respect the process through this petition.
And so, yesterday as well, your attorney arguing that the petition needed the DA, the approval of that. Do you believe that this was just procedural technicality, if questions are going to still linger from your constituents?
Well, it is always going to linger. Things are always going to linger. Everybody doesn't love the sheriff. Everybody doesn't agree with the sheriff. So we understand that this is an ongoing fight. My fight began December 3rd in 2018, 30 minutes after I was elected. I was targeted by ICE and immigration through an interview. So my entire career as the sheriff has been a battle, but through these battles we became a better sheriff and we became a better agency. So, it's not that we welcome the battles, but we actually understand the battles.
You've been busy since I saw you last between the detention center, Jail North, last week, as well as the Sarah Stevenson forum earlier this week with other candidates. Working and balancing, trying to do what you need to do as sheriff of Mecklenburg County, as well as deal with the primary, less than 60 days away. How do you do all that?
Well, you take it under, some people say take it under advisement. So you have to be built for this. We're going to be targeted as elected leaders no matter what we do. I clearly understand that. And how we balance it is that we know that most of this is election rhetoric. Most of this is undermined by people working at the sheriff's office or people who have left, the majority who left the sheriff's office, and they want to see something else different. So we understand that. Battling it is very difficult because most people don't understand that it not only affects me, it affects my family. And when it affects my family, then it affects my family's friends. But it also affects my staff because my staff members can't go to the mall or go to the grocery store wearing a uniform, or if they find out that they are working for the sheriff's office, they get questioned by the public. So it is a very difficult life to live, but this is the life that I have lived for 40 plus years or 4 decades in Charlotte. So I don't always welcome it, but I do expect it to happen continuously.
Let's talk about ICE. You said that you came into your position and ICE sort of being your following or part of your legacy. And now that we're seeing it on a national scale, of course they came, federal agents, to Charlotte not too long ago, and now everything that's happening in Minnesota. I want to shift here to what's happening nationally. Unprecedented federal immigration officers now in Minnesota. What is your response to that? How are you talking? I know you talk to other law enforcement around the country. What's the conversation like that you can tell us?
Well, the conversation is that we're looking like a third world country. And I want to make sure that we distinguish the two. ICE and CBP are two different entities of the Department of Homeland Security. And so what we're seeing in, I believe, in Minnesota is CBP. I'm not sure about ICE. I know about Border Patrol in Minneapolis. I've had conversations all over the country as of yesterday, and we are talking about what is going on. Chiefs and sheriffs are having a difficult time maneuvering through this, even locally. If I have conversations with local authorities and local lawmakers and even local citizens, they are very, very much concerned. They are terrified here in Mecklenburg County about Border Patrol coming back. And who will stand up for our citizens? How much can law enforcement intervene, if they can intervene, or can we have a conversation about what Border Patrol is going to do when they arrive here? We were thinking about just having a meeting of of the department heads, law enforcement, about what are we going to do, how are we going to protect our citizens. What we're seeing in Minneapolis and Minnesota is unbelievable, and it is probably going to be worse. I had a conversation with a citizen prior to the young person getting shot in Minneapolis or Minnesota, and I said somebody else will get shot, and the next morning somebody was shot, but it was a shot in the leg, but they're still been shot. So we need to understand what is going on, which we don't understand. Why is it happening? Because when we hear the media say violent criminals, yes, every law enforcement wants violent criminals away from their cities. We could help remove these violent criminals if we had a plan. It doesn't look like there is any plan in any of these cities the way that Border Patrol is operating.
So the question then is, what can citizens do, not only around the country, but certainly here in Mecklenburg County, if you're talking about people being concerned that federal agents might be coming back?
Well, the first thing to do is know your rights. Know your rights, what you can do, you can't do. If someone's coming to search your property, you ask for the proper documentation. If they have a search warrant, or you could give consent to search. And then you have to understand, if you give them consent to search, they're going to search. So I think that the citizens need to know their rights, know what their do's and don'ts. Do not interfere with anything that law enforcement is doing. That is the main thing. Do not get so close to law enforcement or involved in what they're doing, because they may misunderstand your stance and you may misunderstand their stance. So that's one thing. Do not get involved in any arrests or anything like that.
Then can you refuse entry to federal agents without a warrant? And can you record these encounters? What are rights and rules?
You can record. You can record at a distance, record safely, and if they do not have the authorization to come inside your home or your business through judicial order, then that is something that you're going to have to look at and consider. I can say, well, you can't do this and can't do that, but whatever happens in that moment, you're going to have to justify it and articulate it in court.
Let's talk about here in Mecklenburg County and the current policy with ICE. Where are you with ICE regarding cooperation and Border Patrol?
Well, let me say this again. There has never been not cooperation with ICE. That is just what I classified as a word salad with a lot of politicians and citizens. North Carolina General Statute, I'm going to put that on a t-shirt one day. North Carolina General Statute 162.62 mandated every sheriff, all 100 sheriffs in North Carolina, Democrat, Republican, black, white, independent, to cooperate with ICE. We have always cooperated with ICE. You will never hear a judicial official who is honest, or a lawmaker who is honest, or a law enforcement officer who is honest to say Sheriff McFadden has not followed the law. We've always followed the law. So our relationship and communication with ICE since October 17th has been good. ICE still operates here in Mecklenburg County under their guidelines. We haven't had a confrontation with them. The policy and the procedures that we put in place and agreed upon has worked very well. ICE removed several people from the detention center and also the courthouse with no problem, because they came and listened to what we need to do to make our city safe, make our citizens safe, and make our courthouse and detention center safe. So as far as ICE, we have cooperation. Yet to this day, to this very minute, we have not had a conversation with Border Patrol. We are still asking for that conversation, for understanding, so if they do arrive here, we will work better together.
If your position has, evolved since you took office and took the position as sheriff, I should say, how has it evolved dealing with things escalating across the country, that we're, the scenes that we're seeing, a little bit of it happening here with Border Patrol in the Charlotte area? Where do you see this play out?
Well, my stance has always been the same stance: cooperation and follow the law. So nothing has changed from that. The only reason that it had involved involved a little bit more is because when I sent the letter to ICE, this new leadership listened. This new leadership was willing to have a conversation face to face. So we moved to where we have better conversation, collaboration, and communication. That is all I've ever asked for each time that I requested that. Now, moving forward, we have no idea how this is going to play out now. If we look at these other cities, it is a third world country. You know, we are fighting every night. We are fighting every morning. So hopefully that does not happen here. But what we see is going on. It could happen here. All we're asking for is to have a conversation, let us know the boundaries, let us know what you're going to do. And so we want to involved where we can have a better relationship with Border Patrol or have a relationship with Border Patrol. But it is uncertain at this point.
All right, with that uncertainty, though, in the folks here in Mecklenburg County, really the greater Charlotte Metro, how are we supposed to go day by day?
Well, I think that for the first time, the citizens of Mecklenburg County is experiencing the same thing that our undocumented and immigrant community have feared the whole time: fear. Now everyone's are in fear, and that's different from being scared. And so it is very hard to say what we should do moving forward because we're moving into a part of unknown. We don't know. But I can tell you that we need to still have conversations, meetings, and have a plan of action for when Border Patrol does come back. We have a plan of action.
Also looking forward then again to the election, and now that that petition is behind you, you also have the hearing in front of the General Assembly next week. How are you preparing for that?
Well, we were asked to produce a multitude of documents, and all of those documents have been produced to the committee. So now we are preparing for this hearing. But the hearing should not have been targeted towards the sheriff's office because we don't do certain law enforcement actions in Mecklenburg County. The Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office is not what they call a full-service sheriff's office. And what does that mean? We do not answer 911 calls. So we don't go into community and answer domestic violence calls or calls for service. That is directed to CMPD and the surrounding townships in their jurisdiction. So when we talk about the light rail, that should have been under the CMPD umbrella. But of course, you know, we are in a political era. You know, they want to talk to the sheriff of Mecklenburg County, and they have a chance to ask me a barrage of questions. So we prepared for that, but we stand with our brothers and sisters across the street, CMPD. If they're saying we want you to do more, we'll provide more funding, and we will also answer 911 calls and get more involved in the traditional law enforcement here in Mecklenburg County. We don't have a problem with it. If they want to fund it and they want to support it, this is maybe the time to have the conversation while we're in Raleigh and not just say, you didn't do this and you didn't do that. If they want more law enforcement, then find the funding, pass the budget, because North Carolina is still the only state in the United States has not passed a budget. That is a significant problem, and we need to ask, why hasn't that happened? And if they pass the budget, and if you want to put funding in for Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office to do more in law enforcement and traditional law enforcement duties, we will well accept that.
Sheriff Gary McFadden, thank you as always for joining us here in the Live Impact Studio. Hope to see you after, or perhaps before, your hearing
You'll
next
see me
week
before.
with state leaders. All right, appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I do want to mention that we have, of course, reached out to Representative Carla Cunningham's office about that petition that she was a part of, but we have not heard back yet. Take another quick break, but stick with us. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Live Impact News, just past 7:50 on your Friday evening. And we want to get back to some national news. President Donald Trump had a busy day earlier today, speaking as well at a rural health roundtable with some other members of his cabinet. So here's a listen in.
Very important one today. We've worked on it long and hard. For years they've been working on it. And I see Kevin's in the audience, and I just want to thank you. You were fantastic on television today. I actually want to keep you where you are, if you want to know the truth. Kevin Hassett is so good. I'm saying, wait a minute. If I move them, these Fed guys, certainly the one we have now, they don't talk much. I would lose you. It's a serious concern to me. So I just want to say thank you very much. You've done incredible. We don't want to lose him, Susie, but we'll see how it all works out, okay? Thank you, Kevin. Great job. And thank you for all being here as we discuss the largest investment in rural health care in American history. This is the big one. We're delighted to be joined by many incredible members of the healthcare community, including doctors, nurses, and pharmacists from all across America. We're also very happy to have with us some very talented people. A man who is really good at this, extremely non-controversial, which is, I wanted somebody non-controversial, so I chose Robert F. Kennedy, Jr. to head the whole shebang up. And he also happens to be a great guy. Brooke Rollins, who's doing a fantastic job at agriculture, and thank you. And how are the prices coming?
They're coming, sir, they're coming down.
Don't forget, we inherited a mess.
We sure did.
Remember eggs? They were up 4 times higher than they ever were. And in my first day, they said, what are you going to do about eggs? I said, I didn't cause the problem. We didn't cause, we inherited a mess, but the prices are coming down.
Yes, sir. Wholesale prices are down 86%. Retail a little bit less than that, but yes, you're making America affordable again.
With you in charge, I have no doubt, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And administrator for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, a really good man, a really brilliant guy, Dr. Mehmet Oz. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Oz. And thank you also to Governor Jim Pillen, Senator Dan Sullivan, and Representatives Rob Bresnahan, Mike Lawler, John McGuire, and Nick Begich. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it very much. Now, we have other congressmen here, I see, and a couple of senators, and we appreciate everybody being here. Everyone wants to be a part of this. It's so important. It's maybe, I don't know, for many people, there's nothing more important. I would say maybe defense. We need defense, and we need offense, too, by the way. As part of the great, big, beautiful bill, we're increased, and we have increased funding for the health care by an unprecedented $50 billion. That's rural health care. Nobody thought that was going to happen, and we got it done. So we have rural health care for those that were trying to make a case that we weren't taking care of the rural community. I'm all about the rural community. We won the rural communities by numbers that nobody's ever won them before, and we're taking care of those great people. So we already did this. We increased funding for rural health care by an unprecedented, record-setting $50 billion over 5 years, which will benefit Americans in all 50 states. And this made possible and was made possible by cutting massive waste, fraud, and abuse from Medicaid and reinvesting those funds to revitalize hospitals and our cherished rural communities and hospitals in rural communities. And I want to say, with all of the fraud that we're seeing in Minnesota and California and other places, I actually think that if we do an unbelievable job, you could almost balance your budget, Kevin. If you take a look at the kind of numbers you're talking about, nobody ever saw anything like it. They're all corrupt politicians, from the governor of Minnesota to the governor of California to everybody. They're just corrupt politicians. And you're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars in fraud, waste fraud and abuse. But in fraud, you're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. Under the Unaffordable Care Act, which is Obamacare, it's called the unaffordable. It is unaffordable, remember that. Rural hospitals and communities were devastated by soaring costs, and that continues. Despite colossal increases in government spending since Obamacare was passed, only 7% of the annual Medicaid spending on rural hospitals has gone to rural hospitals. So there's only a very little they didn't care. Obama didn't care about the rural community, to be totally blunt. What he did care about is insurance companies. And this was a bill to make insurance companies wealthy. And they did. They made insurance companies very wealthy. I would say they don't like me too much because they spent hundreds of billions of dollars, and we're going to have that money spent to the people and given to the people, not we're going to circumvent the insurance companies. Partially as a result, rural health care facilities have suffered from low occupancy rates, workforce shortages, and failing programs that put Band-Aids, literally put Band-Aids over the problem.
You've been listening into President Donald Trump earlier today at a roundtable talking about rural health care and ways he plans to improve that. It's a much longer forum, but we actually have to get to a special that we have coming up at 8. And then stick around at 11 o'clock. That's when our newscast will be with all your updates on your local headlines and, of course, your weekend forecast. Thanks for joining us.